You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now, it's our turn.
CMR Critical Mass Radio is a completely non-profit station where the hosts pay to broadcast their shows. The mission of the station is to get as much information as possible out to people about the world we live in, to unite like-minded people, and to try to come up with workable solutions. If you agree with the work that we are doing, then please feel free to help us continue by making a donation on the webpage. CMR is for people who want answers, because now it is our turn. CMR Critical Mass Radio in association with We Are Change Manchester and Freedom Northwest. Please note the views and opinions expressed by the hosts on this show are not necessarily the views held by the station. CMR is for people who want answers, because now it's our turn.
Mama was the one. whether you're getting this as I speak or I can hear it about 2 or 3 minutes later. So, I'm trying to get in touch with a guest I've got coming on tonight called Pete Charles. I'm struggling. Hello everyone, I'm back again. Well, I think I'm back again. Once again, help us out in the chat room, please. Just give us a quick yes if you can hear me. Oh, all sorts is happening tonight. I've got a guest tonight called Pete Charles who I was going to do a great introduction for him. Oh, thanks, Lisa, you can hear me. Yeah, I was going to do a great introduction for him tonight, but as you know, loads of technical stuff, loads of problems. Yeah, so, Pete Charles is my guest. I hope it's all going to work. Let's try and get him on now. Bear with me. If anything happens, I'll just stick a tune on. Give us a couple of minutes, and hopefully it'll be alright. So, I'm going to try and get Pete Charles on the line in about 2 minutes. Can I do it? I'm about to give up on this. And also, my voice seems to be coming through about 5 seconds behind. So, just bear with me. Okay. Well, having a bit of a nightmare here tonight. Okay, it's all gone quiet because I'm getting drop out with my sound and everything here. Oh, what a nightmare we're having tonight. Alright, Pete, are you there?
I am.
Can you hear me alright?
I can hear you fine, Rob.
Oh, sorry about this, mate. I've been wanting to get you on for ages. I'm just going to check in the chat room, Pete, to make sure that they can hear you.
Okay, mate.
Can anybody in the chat room tell me if they can hear Pete's voice as well as my own? There's also a delay fee when we talk. Let's have a look. Yep, can hear both of you. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Lisa. All right then, Pete. It sounds like we're coming through, but it's all strange on this end. How's it sounding your end, Pete?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear here.
Oh, well, thanks for being patient, Pete. I don't know what's happened tonight, but it's one of them things, isn't it? Yeah, I've been wanting to get you on for ages, haven't I?
You have?
Yeah, I have. Right, I'm a bit thrown now by everything. Yeah, so Pete, thanks for being patient. What we'll do is, if it, I mean, half an hour's gone by now, mate. So,
yeah.
Sorry about this, but what we'll do is I'll get all the tech problems sorted out, and perhaps you can come back on. But let's not get put off. Right, mate. I'm sorry to throw you into the deep end, but will you just give the listeners a bit of background about yourself? I was going to give you this great introduction, Pete.
Yeah, no problem.
Obviously, I've not had a chance, so would you just give our listeners a little bit of background about yourself, mate?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
I'm basically been in business for a long time, up and coming like businessman, so to speak. I have my own company, doing really, really well. Background is I got invited to the right place at the right time and met the right people at the right time. And as I was an up-and-coming businessman, let's say, people were interested in me for political reasons. And there weren't faults about it. They told me from day one, you know, because you could be a councillor or an MP one day and all the rest of it. So I used to get invited to a few places, executive boxes, things like that, took away for the weekend. And I've been into UFO stuff all my life anyway, searching for the truth. So I've always been inquisitive about the truth. And on one occasion, I was in a box and was talking about, there was some top guys from Rolls-Royce there. Are you all right with me talking about this, Rob?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant, Pete. Okay. You carry on, mate.
Anyway, being a businessman, you sit at the back and you listen, you learn, you watch, and you take whatever you need to take out of it. And there's some very influential people there, Knighthoods, OBEs, things like this. And I was listening to these two guys from Rolls-Royce talking about, I don't know if you remember, there was a plane dropped out of the sky over at Heathrow or Gatwick about 4 or 5 years ago, might even be 6 years ago now.
Yeah, I do remember it, Pete. I do remember it. It was in all over the news, wasn't it?
Yeah, he managed to get the runway. Now, in listening to the conversation, I overheard these guys talking. It cost something like $10 billion to ground the planes, and if they lost 2, 3, 4 planes, it cost them $2 billion. So, hence, they never grounded the planes. Now, I didn't say anything. I was quite shocked. at the time, and I thought, it just hit me. I thought, well, obviously then human life isn't worth diddly. You know, how can you put a value on human life? I mean, I know people who've lost limbs, and I've said to them, the conversation they got, whatever, what would you rather have your limb back or keep the money? And every single one of them people have said, I want my limb back.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, you can't put a value on your limb or a human life. So that quite shocked me. And then still obviously doing the business and things like that, but it stuck at the back of my mind thinking, you know, that's not right. It just wasn't right. Money over life, and I thought, which is a bit weird. And then not long after that, I was talking to a Muslim friend of mine. He's on about 9/11. It could have been an inside job, and I basically said to him, I told him with some quite rude words, how dare you think? How can you think that in the first place? That's unbelievable. But being the person I am, I thought, well, I'm going to look into this and prove him wrong. And I looked into it. The more I looked into it, the more I realised it was obviously an inside job, which shocked me even more. So I'll carry on doing my business, but obviously these things were back in my mind and all the rest of it. And the way I got into it all was through some phones. Am I right still, Rob, talking about this?
Yep, it's fine.
Yeah,
Fine, mate.
Anyway, the company's roughly £500,000 turnover, employing 15 people. I get a phone call transferred to me one day saying, we've got this offer for 2 mobile phones, excuse me, 2 mobile phones, £10 a month each, free calls to each other. I thought, that'd be sound for the lads. 2-week free trial. So I said, yeah, go on, send them me, whatever. Thought nothing more of it, because obviously I'm dead busy doing other things. And 3 weeks later, I got 2 phones through the post with a letter inside saying, you didn't send them back within the 2-week free trial period, you're now in contract for 2 years. And I thought, good one, good scam that was. They got me in contract for 2 years by sending me the phones after the 2-week period. And I thought, good one, but you're not having me. I'm not having none of it. So I looked up, well, as you do, lawful rejection. At the time...
Sorry, just say that again, Pete, for our listeners. Lawful rejection.
Lawful rejection. So I just Googled
mate.
lawful rejection to see if I could get rid of these 2 phones and this contract. And lawful rebellion came up.
Can I just ask you, Pete, sorry to interrupt you, what made you put lawful rejection? Is it just a phrase you'd heard, or did it just come to your mind?
No, it just come to mind. I want to lawfully reject this contract.
Okay, brilliant. Sorry, mate, carry on.
That's all I thought. So, anyway, I came across lawful rebellion, hence John Harris. I seen the video come up saying it's an illusion. I thought, what's that about? Thinking it was a magic program. Being the director, I had a bit of free time, so I was, let's have a look at that. And I watched it, and I thought, no, that can't be true. And I watched it again, but things slotted in what you were saying. And I watched it again, and I thought, well, no, I need to check this up myself. So I started doing the research myself, and when I discovered the truth, let's say, or the beginning of truth, I went to bed one night and I cried my eyes out, thinking, how can the people at the top do this to anybody? It's just so wrong. Okay, business, you scam and whatever you do, but this is like so wrong. The whole thing was so wrong, and I decided to give my business up virtually there and then. The money was in the bank, made all the lads redundant. So there you go, lads. I've had enough. I'm not doing it no more. I can't believe what I've just found out. They obviously thought I was mad at the time, but from there I went to Truth Juice, and John Harris was there. I met him, and we became very good friends from then.
Sorry, Pete. It's because our connection's not that good. So am I right in saying, Pete, that you were on the brink of being super successful as far as you owned a company? Correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, please.
Yeah.
You were on the verge of being really successful as a businessman and entrepreneur, and you were kind of invited to join the bigwigs and the elites, shall we say, the business professionals. And whilst you were in their company, is when you noticed the corruption and injustice, basically. Is that kind of how it came about then?
Yeah, there was that. I mean, I was invited to places like Parliament, Buckingham Palace. I could have gone down that route if I wanted to, but once I discovered the truth, I and close the business down. Well, I didn't close it down. I wound it right down. So I thought, no, I'm not doing it no more. I'm not going to work 24 hours a day doing my brain in when I've just discovered the truth about the whole system. And when I wound it down, they drifted away from me, let's say.
Yeah.
There were nice people, don't get me wrong, but I could have gone, I was invited, down Parliament, Buckingham Palace, all expenses paid. But it wasn't common purpose, by the way, in case people are thinking it's common purpose.
Yeah, I was just wondering that myself, actually, mate.
No, it wasn't. It was a different route. It was more, let's say, on the military route.
Okay. Would you say, Pete, that these people had picked you out because of your success or on the verge of being really successful? Would you say these people, actually, well, I suppose groom's the wrong term, but they actually chose you to join their sort of group?
Yeah, they wanted up-and-coming people to support them. And there weren't faults about that. They said from day one, you could be up-and-coming people. We need you to support us later on in life. One of you people in this room could be the next Prime Minister, sort of thing. So, they was pretty open about it, and there's some, nice people there, really. But even to this day, I don't think they even know the truth themselves.
Yeah, they're probably wrapped up in it themselves, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. They kept very busy doing everything they do, hitting the targets, and they just don't know the truth themselves.
Yeah, I've got to say, Pete, I think it's a really honourable thing that you did, and it shows integrity to walk away from. Basically, I suppose you would have been really wealthy by now. Yeah,
but I came from a poor background, very poor background.
Well, we had I know we spoke previously, Pete. We've had a very similar background to each other, as terms of growing up, haven't we, mate?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so on that one. So I think you appreciate money, but you don't realise. I don't know. I think my way is. I remember my missus saying to me, she says, money's not everything, but because I'd never had anything, I worked really hard to get where I got, and I sacrificed bringing my kids up and all the rest of it by working the late nights and never seeing them. And she turned to me years ago and says, money's not everything, and I realised now she was dead right.
Yeah.
But you need to have a bit of money to realise you don't need it in the first place.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does, mate.
On that one.
Yeah, so Pete, what I wanted to come to, the reason I've got you on tonight is that when you did walk away, I don't know how long it actually took you to walk away, but you've actually now are very similar to me. You're helping a lot of people now.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, mate, go on.
Yeah, well, I just said yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's a bit of a delay, so... You're the same as me. You're helping people walk away from this, I don't know, this tyranny, basically. Now, a lot of people I'm trying to help, and I think people that you're trying to help, they've had some sort of court action threatened, or they've actually had to go to court. And I wanted you to talk. I was going to actually do this in the introduction, but because of the tech problems, I've not been able to. But before anybody gets any court action against them, they usually get, or in fact, I think it's most times, you get something called a notice of intended prosecution. Would that be right, Pete?
Yeah, I've got one in front of me. Notice of intended prosecution. Yeah.
Yeah. So most people get one of these, and then have to go to court, don't they?
Yeah.
Now, what I wanted you to tell our listeners is you found out something really interesting about this through your own study. You've done this yourself. Can you just explain what you've actually found out about this?
Well, when I looked at it, when I was ready to get one, I finally got myself a speeding fine. Speeding ticket, whatever you call it. So they sent this letter through, notice of intended prosecution. Now, first of all, I noticed that the name at the top left-hand is in a box. The road Section 172 of the Road Traffic Act is also in a box. Certificate of posting for police use is also in a box. And everything, you turn it over and everything else is in a box. And I thought, well, this is weird. Why is all this in a box? And then it come back to me from years ago, I think at school, and the four-corner rule.
Now, would you just explain this? I do know this. I know all about this four-corner rule. But do you know there's a lot of people who don't know about this four-corner rule?
No. Yeah, they don't realise what it is. But basically, I've got the Law Dictionary in front of me, and I'll read it to you. The four-corner rule. The principle that a document's meaning is to be gathered from the entire document and not from its isolated parts. There's a case number there, whatever. The principle that no extraneous evidence shall be used to interpret an unambiguous document. So basically what that's saying is, if it's in the four corners, anything on that document is part of, let's say, a contract. So a piece of paper with four corners, with nothing in it apart from writing, two signatures, is a contract. So anything in that four-corner piece of paper that's in four corners, i.e. lined, is basically not part of the document.
Is that a box, if it's in boxes as well, Pete, on that piece of paper? Because they like to fill the boxes in, don't they? They love to fill the boxes in. So,
yeah, of course I do, yeah. Because basically then they're not... because you're actually committing perjury when you do it, because it's in boxes, they could say, well, no, he's not committing perjury because, look, it's in the box. It's not part of the document. If you might get that. I don't know if your listeners will get that.
So are you saying, Pete, if you... Let me get this right. If you don't fill it in the boxes, you're committing perjury, or if you do fill it in the boxes, mate, sorry about that.
Well, if you do, there's a declaration. Let me just read this declaration because this is quite interesting.
Okay, it's quite a valid point, this, Pete, so that's why I wanted you to go through this with us.
This is the bit you sign that's not in a box. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
It says declaration. This statement consisting of a one-sided document is true to the best of my knowledge and belief. So you've got to know and believe, for starters. And I make it knowing that, full stop. Now, this is interesting bit. If it is tendered in evidence, I shall be liable to prosecution. Now, there should be a full stop there, but there's not, so you can read it two ways. When I said liable to prosecution, I shall be liable to prosecution. You can also read it this way. I shall be liable to prosecution if I have willfully stated in it anything which I know to be false or do not believe to be true. So, because there's no full stop in between the prosecution and if, it's two separate statements. Right,
so with it.
If it is tendered in evidence, I shall be liable to prosecution. There should be a full stop there, but there's not one. Now, if I go back to, I shall be liable to prosecution if I willfully state anything in which I know to be false or do not believe to be true. Do you get that?
I do get that, yeah.
So, you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. Now, because, you know, this statement consists of a one-sided document is true to the best of my knowledge and belief. And I make it knowing that, full stop or comma, if it is tendered in evidence, I shall be liable to prosecution. So, if I send it, it's a one-sided document to the best of my belief, and I make it knowing that I shall be liable for prosecution. Yeah. And it also says, I shall be liable for prosecution if I willfully state anything which I know to be false or do not believe to be true. Now, then we come on to the Capitis Dimitio Maxima, which is your capital name.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you so far, yeah.
Yeah, it always comes in a all capital name. Let's just get this up. I've got it here somewhere. I've got this bit ready because it's... I mean, I've shown this to some police officers and they can't believe it.
Did they actually understand it, Pete, after you explained it to them? Did they take it in?
I mean, I was witness to something a while ago, and this cop would come round. It's supposed to be here 20 minutes. He's with me 4 hours.
You're joking.
No, he shook me hand at the end of it. He says, you know what, Pete, I've been in the force 20 years. He says, I know you've learnt me more in 4 hours than I've ever realised was capable.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Here we go, Capitis Dimitio. Let me just, I'll just read the maximum a bit. There's a bit more to it. Well, Capitis Dimitio is the destruction of the caput or legal personality. Your viewers know what legal personality is?
Yes, they do. Yeah, they do.
So, Capitis Dimitio, so to speak, wipes out the former individual and puts a new one in its place. And between the old and new individual, there is, legally speaking, nothing in common. The juristic personality may thus be destroyed in one of three ways. By loss of the status libitus, this is the Capitis Dimitio Maxima. 2, by loss of the status civilius. So that's a maxima. So let me just read the maxima to you.
Okay.
Minor maxima. Here we go. Latin, maximum reduction of status. Roman law, the diminution of a person's legal status as a result of being reduced to slavery. Now that's the words in the law book, not mine. Now we all know slavery is forbidden.
Do they actually use the word slavery, Peter?
It actually uses the word slavery.
Okay.
Being reduced to slavery. So if you fill this out with all capital letters, then you're saying I'm a slave.
So you're basically agreeing to be a slave as well?
Yeah, of course you are. So if I fill it out, it says here, I'll be liable for prosecution if I willfully state anything which I know to be false or do not believe to be true. Well, I don't believe to be true that I'm a slave.
Yeah, exactly,
so if you fill this form out, you're actually committing perjury. So they've got you both ways. So
Pete, what would you recommend then if somebody, and I should imagine a lot of our listeners, and me myself included, have had this notice of internal prosecution, how would you advise, or what would you personally do yourself with this form, if anything.
Excuse me a minute.
You got a bit of a cough, mate?
Yeah, I'm just going to get the paperwork out, what I wrote to them, what they wrote to me. Because I won't say got away with it, but I never read any more of them after I spoke to them.
Oh, lovely. It's them that's getting away with things, mate, as we know.
I know it is, yeah.
Yeah, I know you know.
But other people have tried it. The one thing I will express to the listeners, though, is you've got to know what you're doing. Because if you can't back it up, you're knackered.
Yeah, exactly.
And basically, and also don't believe a word I'm saying. Do your own research. I lost my paper now.
I like it, mate. That's what I do when I do. You know, I do talk presentations, and I always start off, mate. In fact, you've attended some yourself, haven't you? I always say, don't believe a word I'm saying. It's all bollocks what I'm saying. Please check it out. What I want is people to disprove what I'm saying, because that helps me. But obviously, not many people can. So yeah, I like it. I like what you're saying.
I mean, I'll just go off tangent on one bit. John Harris, when I met him and we met up and became good friends. Now, I could have picked his brain and got loads of knowledge off him, but I never. I actually came away for a year, and I rang him after about a year. And he says, Pete, how you been? He said, how come you ain't been in touch? I said, because, John, I could have picked your brain and learnt nothing. I says, and I didn't want to go down that path.
Yeah.
You ought to learn it yourself. You know, I can't emphasise that much to anybody. We can help you, but we can't wipe your backside, let's say.
Yeah, exactly.
I sent a notice of prosecution denial, and basically what I put was, you sent the notice of prosecution to the legal fiction, or the all capitals, regarding an alleged offence. I hereby give you notice that require the following information to deal with this matter. Do you, I won't say who, represent the Crown Corporation of Her Majesty and Right of England from the inner city of London, which is a sovereign independent nation of London, which people don't realise.
Yeah.
What I will say, some people don't believe us, and even I've had a copy of this before. I says, "Oh, are you into the Royals?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm into the Royals." Says, "And who do you work for?" I said, "I work for the Crown." I said, "What, the Queen?" He said, "Yeah, the Queen." I said, "Well, the Crown isn't the Queen. The Crown, it's Corporation Crown. It's Her Majesty and Right of England from the separate independent nation of London." And I said to him, I says, "You're into the Royals a bit?" He says, "Yeah, I'm into the Royals a bit." I says, "Well, why do you think she walks behind the mayor when she goes into London?"
Yeah, exactly.
And he went, "Wow, that's mind-blowing," and walked away, because he was onto something and his mind couldn't accept it, and he just walked away. But hopefully I set a seed there, so he did his own research. I said, "So do you represent them, or do you represent the Majesty Queen Elizabeth from the House of Windsor, who swore an oath to uphold God's law?" Again, uphold God's law is an interesting one.
Yeah,
she swore on the coronation. If you don't represent Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, then I won't do business with you, basically. Send me proof in 28 days that you represent the Queen. Anyway, they sent me another letter. Go find it. Yeah, they sent me another letter. There we go. Like a very recent letter, the contents of which have been noted. Right, so they've accepted my notice.
Right, okay.
They've done it. So the notice of intent of prosecution posted to you, well, it weren't sent to me. It was sent to the Capital Commission. Required you under section blah, 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 as a registered keeper to identify the driver at the time of the offence. You're allowed 28 days to comply with this requirement. You're allowed to comply with this requirement. Oh, it's a request.
So it's a request that you can turn down, obviously. It's just a request.
Yeah, but I never turned it down. I thought, okay, but I laughed at that one. At this time, you're not identified, so therefore allowed a further 10 days from this letter, which is interesting, because 10 days is 3 days there, 3 days consider, 3 days back, 1 day, Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, you know that one, right?
Yeah, it's fairly standard, isn't it?
Yeah. For you to comply with this request. Again, it's a request. If you fail to identify the driver, or this is the interesting bit. It says, if you fail to identify the driver, or I receive no reply. Well, I could have replied saying, "Piss off,"
like
because it's all there. The case will be passed to wherever. So criminal proceedings. So I just wrote a letter back to them saying, because I knew what I was doing, saying, well, for starters, you never sent the letter to me, the lowercase person. You sent the letter to the capital person, and my notice basically still stands. I'll now give you a further 10 days, like you're giving me, because what you do to them, they can do to you. It's unbelievable, really.
Yeah, I'm a big thing on this, Pete. I keep harping on about mirroring things back at them, using their system against them, and that's in effect what you're doing, is it not?
Yeah, and basically I got a letter back saying we're going to pass it on to whoever, and I just ignored it. I thought, okay then, I'll wait to get the next one or the court date. I was looking forward to my court date, I really was.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't do it for some reason. So I think I'm a bit for some reason I'm a bit protected that way. I don't know why. I'm just whether I'm lucky or.
So what was the outcome eventually, Pete? Nothing. No action.
Nothing at all. No action. Never got in touch with me. But people have tried this afterwards, and it's not worked. In fact, we're up at court soon regarding this. Very similar.
I know you help a lot of people out, Pete, don't you? Morgan and Cork.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to court loads of times. I mean, I went to court.
I think I attended once with you, or maybe twice. Yeah.
Yeah, you did actually with the council tax with.
That's right, with that youngest lad. Yeah.
Yeah, with Ben.
That's Ben. Yeah.
And they actually admitted that they hired the court privately outside. Can you remember?
Yeah, they admitted it. Yeah.
Privately, it's all private and all the rest of it. So yeah, I mean, I've helped quite a few people. I mean, I've gone on a tangent there, and about understand the words and stuff. Excuse me a minute, Rob.
Well, actually, Pete, can you, if you want to refresh your glass, shall we put a bit of a song on? I don't know how all this is going to work if this technical stuff is sorted out, but let's put a bit of a song on, and then we can get a drink of water or whatever, and just. I've got a strange echo here, Pete. Can you hear an echo as we're talking? Or is it coming through straight?
No, it's pretty straight.
Oh, okay. I can just hear a strange echo. All right, I'll stick a song on for about, let's have a look, 4 minutes. So I don't know if you want a quick drink or whatever you do. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so if you just want to hang on or have a fag or whatever you do, and I'll see you back in about 4 minutes, mate.
Yeah, brilliant.
All right, cheers. See you in 4.
Bye.
Bye.
You're listening to criticalmassradio.co.uk. Truth Radio, the proactive station for the people who want change.
Yeah, Robbie Williams there with Advertising Space. Yeah, that's quite applicable today, isn't it? Yeah, so I've got my guest here, Pete Charles, after a technical nightmare, a disaster to start with. Pete, are you still there, mate?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, brilliant, mate. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you what I want to get on to, Pete. Sorry, I've been posed a question. Is, you know what you were talking about, this notice of intended prosecution?
Yeah.
Somebody's posed a question and say, why go to court in the first place?
Because, well, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to fight their system for everybody else.
Yeah, me too, mate. Me too. That's why I go along to their place of business. Yeah. Sorry, mate, carry on.
And the more we do it, yourself, me, whoever, the more we're going to find more answers and solutions. And we're asking them questions, and we're actually waking them up, because when I was in the court, I mean, they get a barrister onto me now, or whoever I'm going in with. I always get a barrister. And I've watched the court, because I used to go sit in the court and just watch it, see how wrong it all was, for about a year and a half. And the last time we got a barrister in there was on about a four-corner rule, and the barrister says, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, you're a barrister." He says, "Well, yeah, I know I am." He says, "Well, what's a four-corner rule?" And I had to get the book out and show him. This after the magistrates had gone out. And then he says, "That's really interesting." And I looked at my mate, I says, "You know, I've been studying it 3 years, and he's been doing it all his life, and yet he doesn't know what the four-corner rule is." So we're actually educating these people.
Yes, that's a prime example of the higher up you go in this legal profession, the less you know, isn't it? They get trained in a certain way, and if you like, mind controlled, so that the only thing that they think is law is what they've been taught out of books and lecturers. Yeah, so the higher up you go, solicitor, barrister, maybe district judge and higher, the less you know about true law. Would you agree with that, mate?
Yeah, I'd agree with that, but I'd also like to point out as well, we're watching the courts and going for this private administrative hearing, and I've had solicitors saying, "Oh, no, it's not," but anyway, that's another subject. But I've seen the court change in the last 2 years, right in front of my eyes. I mean, the last few times I've been, it's actually almost been a court de jure, a court with the jury. We went last time, and there was no hearsay allowed, so no letters or anything like that. Everything had to be written down. We had to speak very slowly, so the clerk could write it all down, which is like a court de jure, Queen's Bench or Crown Court. The copper came in, we cross-examined him, dead timely.
Sorry, mate.
Can you hear me?
Yep, carry on. Sorry, mate.
I wasn't boring you, Rob.
No. Oh, you won't believe what's happening on my screen. It's dancing like, I don't know, like bloody can dance. But sorry, mate, carry on.
Well, anyway, the magistrates went out and they came back and they says, well, we can't establish beyond a reasonable doubt, so we're going to find you not guilty. And to me, I was shocked the first time I seen it. I thought, oh, I've never seen this in 2 years, 3 years I've been going to court. And so they must be listening to us and changing the system because they know there's more and more people, and intelligent people, not just people who disregard the law or whatever. Intelligent people are waking up, and we're waking other, intelligent people to change the system because it's so wrong.
So are you saying, Pete, in your opinion, that there are people up there who in quite high positions, maybe barristers, judges, solicitors, whatever, that are now listening to us and coming around to our way of thinking, or do you think it's some sort of ploy for them to take steps and come up with something, even more corrupt? Do you think they are actually listening to us?
Well, yeah, I think they've got no choice because there's more and more people going into court now and saying, oh, no, what about this? What about that? How have you got jurisdiction over me? When I've done nothing wrong. Victimless crime, speeding, the seatbelt. This is just, it's so wrong. And because more and more people are challenging, they've got to sit up and listen because we're actually educating them at the same time as well. Saying, well, why is that? Why? I mean, I remember at school saying, teacher, why, sir?
Yeah, questioning.
Yeah, because it is. Why, sir? Because it is. In the end, I got clout at the end because that's how it is and that's it.
You didn't go to my school, did you? Because that's the same with me. I think a lot of from our sort of age group, it was like that in those days. Don't question.
Yeah, it was.
I think it still is, actually. Yeah, so Pete, would you, I know you don't give advice, but would you recommend somebody then tries studying this and tries to head it off before any court case actually happens, but then if they still persist to actually represent themselves in court, is it something you would not advise but recommend that people try and do? Yeah,
because I don't know if you told the guys this, but once you hire a solicitor, you're then a ward of court. You're classed as a child, and a lot of people don't realise is when you go into court, is when you have a solicitor, he signs a piece of paper that says yes, because you're a ward of court then or a child. He signs a piece of paper saying yes, you'll pay any fine you want, and yes, you'll go to prison if you want, on your behalf. So really, he's not trying to get you off anything or get you free. All he's doing is a plea bargaining type of thing and signing your rights away. Would that be right? Yeah, he's not bothered. He's getting paid either way. He's not bothered. Some of them are nice and want to help you, but because they've been taught in a certain way, they don't know all the other options. Yeah. They don't look at the Magna Carta and different bills of exchange and things like that. There's that many angles, to get them. A decent solicitor would help you, and a lot of them, I think, would be quite shocked for what we know. I mean, the people I know, and I know solicitors and some big wigs, and I've gone through some stuff with them, and they've come away shocked. Yeah. Because they know it all makes sense, and it's lawful. I mean, there's a big difference between legal and lawful. I never knew that. But I found out, the hard way, let's say. I would say legal is almost the antithesis, the complete opposite of what lawful is. Yeah. Yeah, it is, and it's created that way, and to be so complicated, isn't it? Yeah, it's just basically it's a con people, isn't it? It is, it's a big con, and I don't know if, well, you know yourself, barristers and solicitors especially, they almost bow down to judges, don't they, and magistrates. It's almost like they're the high priest and they have to bow down to them, so you're on a loser straight away, aren't you? Yeah, because they're obviously part of the Law Society, and they swear an oath to abide by the Law Society rules, which again is from the separate sovereign nation of London, the Inner Temple and Outer Temple. Yeah, exactly, mate. So they're stuck. I mean, a friend of mine is a solicitor. He says, "Well, are you going to become a solicitor then? Go to university?" I says, "No." He goes, "Why not?" I said, "Because I'm enjoying it too much." I don't want to go there and be indoctrinated and brainwashed into a certain way. I says, I'm enjoying learning my way rather than anybody else's way on that one. Just like after 3 months of studying it, understanding what the word appeal meant, that saved me £3,000. Well, actually, Pete, you just read my mind, because I was going to ask you how you think, as regard courts and stuff, is going to go in the next sort of 12 months. But before that, I was going to ask you about the word appeal. Now, I know you've got some information on this that you've studied yourself, so brilliant. So do you want to carry on, mate? Yeah, I'll tell the listeners what happened. I used to rent a house direct to the council, and they send us a gyro on the bottom of it says whatever the gyro was, and at the top it says we can legally recover any overpayment of benefit paid to you. I thought, okay then. And we had a very dodgy tenant who kept the few months' rent, and we said we wanted them to move, and they never. Well, we thought they never, but apparently they did. We got a letter from the council saying, "Oh, she moved out 3 months ago. You now owe us £3,000." Well, it's more than that actually.
Sorry, saying that you owed the £3,000.
Saying that I owed them £3,000.
What was that for, Peter?
For the rent.
Sunday name Peter there. Sorry, Pete. Sorry, mate.
And my mum calls me that when I've been naughty.
Hey, I get called Robert. Yeah. Sorry, Pete. Yeah, continue. Yeah, sorry.
What was the question again, Rob?
I don't know. I've completely forgot. Yeah, the £3,000 was billed for you, and what was it for, mate?
Oh, it's they wanted to legally recover any overpayment of benefit paid to me. So they paid me for 5 months' rent when she wasn't there.
Because she'd moved out?
Because she'd moved out. She never told me she moved out. She never told them that she'd moved out. But because they found out 5 months later, because that's how inefficient most councils are, they said, right, you owe us £3,000 now. And I'd only been studying it a while. And sent me this letter, and my partner at the time says, oh, we're going to have to pay the money back. I says, no. I says, no, we're not. He says, yeah, we are. I says, no, let me have a think about this one. So I wrote them a letter saying, thanks for your letter, but I haven't applied for any benefits. It's not my benefit. And they wrote me a letter back saying, well, it clearly states in our letter we can recover any overpayment of benefit paid to you. I wrote a letter back saying, well, it's not my benefit. I've told you before, it's not my benefit. It's her benefit. It's my rent. So they sent a form through saying, right, you owe us this. We've decided you owe us £3,000. If you wish to appeal against our decision, then you have 28 days in which to do so. Well, I thought, hold on, let's look at the word appeal. And basically, the word appeal means to beg. I'll give you an example. I appeal to you, King, don't chop my head off. Anything with A-double-P, be very suspicious of it. So I wrote the letter saying, if by appealing this decision, does that mean I accept the first decision in the first place that I owe you the money? I knew the answer, but anyway, they sent me a letter back saying, yes, but no, but yes, but no, but. So then I wrote them a letter saying, well, I've decided to keep the money as rent. If you wish to appeal against my decision, you have 28 days in which to do so.
Sorry, Pete, just interrupt you. So, did you notify on your paperwork? Because I'm a big believer in sending your own paperwork in.
Yeah, it was always on my own paperwork.
Never fill their forms in their paperwork or answer to it at all.
No, never.
Okay, sorry, mate, carry on.
And in the meantime, I've been speaking to people on the phone saying, well, can I speak to your legal department? Saying, well, no, they won't speak to you. I said, well, you can't answer my questions, and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I sent this letter saying, does it mean I accept the first decision? Got a letter back saying, yes, but no, but yes, but no, but I've just said that answer.
Yeah.
And then, anyway, I sent my letter off saying, you got 20 days in which to appeal against my decision. And they just sent me a letter back saying, yeah, okay, it is your rent, and we owe you 2 more weeks. There you go.
So, yeah, so it is your rent. So, yeah. Another victory.
Well, yeah, but my brother, who's got quite a few houses, he's had problems over the years, because I only had the one with a partner at the time, and he's always had to send the money back, and he was absolutely gutted.
Was he? Because you got a result and he didn't?
Well, when I showed him how easy it was, or how simple it was, when you simplify it, you think, well, no, it's not your benefit. He goes, yeah, but he went to the appeal, and they decided to let him have about £500 out of a £2,000 bill, so it cost him £1,500.
Right.
Just by not knowing what the word appeal means. Yeah,
I'm interested because, as we know, they use words to help this enslavement and this corruption. Sorry, Pete, I've got a bit of a cough, just excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, so you're saying the word appeal is really akin to begging. And I was in court a few months ago. I don't know, you may have actually come along to watch, Pete, I can't remember, but they were asking me to plead. It were for some bogus driving offence. And I know in a court case, if you do not plead, they can't move forward. And the same thing, pleading is begging.
Yeah.
So they said, I give them a name and I give them a care of address, and the clerk to the justice says, how do you plead? And I said, well, I don't plead anything. And she said, well, this is how it works. You've either got to plead guilty or not guilty. Now, same as an appeal. If you're pleading, then you're acknowledging that you may or may not have done something wrong.
Yes.
So if you don't plead, which is I would not plead, I asked for an adjournment to gather all the police evidence, and I said, how can I possibly make any sort of pleading, which I knew was begging, unless I can have all the evidence and have time to go through it all. And in the end, they gave me a bit of evidence, which was nothing, and said, come back in an hour, that's all you've got. But it's the same thing, they want you to plead and beg, don't they, and buy. It's almost like a church, and in fact, I know it is a church.
Yeah, I know.
And that's why you go to a hearing, Pete, because they're hearing confession.
Yeah.
As you know, I know court is many things. It's a church. The judges are high priests, as far as I'm concerned. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. Well, they change it for the ship to the church to the whatever suits them best, don't they?
Well, that's the other thing. It's also the part of a ship, isn't it? As you go through the dock, as we know. But also, Pete, I don't know. It's a lot of studying I've been doing. I know you've come across it. It's also a trustees meeting. So a lot of things are going on apart from administering justice. Would you agree? Because I know you know some of the stuff about the trust stuff. Would you agree? It's also a trust meeting as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's an awkward one to explain to the listeners, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but they have got.
Yeah,
they have. I mean, I've been harping on about it for months now, so I think they're sick of hearing me. But yeah, I have used this as a defence. I've used it as a form of attack where I've gone. In fact, you might have even been at one of those cases I were at, where I've gone in as general executor, recognise that they are trustees, public servants, and turn it back round and dismiss the case.
Resolve their trust, yeah.
Yeah, I've not always got a great result from it, but the point I'm trying to make is, instead of, I'm on about mirroring things back, instead of us appealing or pleading, Pete, like you said, begging, we can actually turn it round and put them on the back foot and remind them of what their position is as a servant, as a public servant. While they're in that capacity, that occupation, they're acting as servants or as trustees. So I know you know a little bit about trust, same as me, but I think you'll agree that I like the stuff that you're doing, and we're all coming from different angles. And when we last spoke, you said a great thing to me the other week. You said to me, you can have as many defences as you like. Yeah. Can you remember saying that, Pete?
Yeah, they can, yeah. Yeah, they can't stop you from any defence. I mean, I'll just go back to that, because something's coming in my head there, Rob.
All right, mate, yep.
The pleading. I mean, you could turn around to them and say, well, why do you want me to beg? And they say, well, no, you're not begging. Well, pleading is begging. Am I a slave?
Yeah, exactly.
You could, like, turn it around. You know, I was just thinking of a scenario there where you can, like, turn it around them and make them realise, oh, yeah, they are begging. Because they half of them don't realise what they're doing. They're just stuck in a mindset. Job's worse. We do this. We do that. We do this. We go home. We do this. We do that. We do this. We go home. They're not thinking for themselves. And we're trying to get people, obviously, to start thinking for themselves about the whole system.
Yeah, so what I was going to ask you then, there's a lot of people doing a lot of good work as far as trying to head it off before it even gets to court, which is, I don't know if you're aware, you probably are, that I've never actually been taken to court for any financial demand. The only thing I've ever been took to court is some bogus driving offence, or, excuse me, a bit of wind there, mate, or some problem with a gas meter thing that I ended up sending back, as you probably know.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah. But as regards any financial demands, I've, including council tax, including income tax, including any sort of tax, anything, I've never actually successfully been taken to court over any demand for money. So, based on that and the stuff I use, would you recommend, like I know we spoke about earlier, that people try and head it off, but then have a game plan just in case that it is ignored?
Yeah, it's a bit like use as many defences as you can. The more you know, the more you can hit it in various different ways. But yeah, if you can, head it off before it gets anywhere that far, because you know the idea is to, before you go to court, you've already won, which is what they do by using their play on words.
Yeah. So what I suppose what I'm getting at is a lot of people who are new to the truth movement are looking for a magic bullet, a silver bullet, and we both know a chap who's Scottish. I don't know if you can recall him. Yeah, you know him. A bit of a character. But he relies on just repeating something that's worked for somebody else and sees it as a magic bullet. And we know that each court is different and each court session is different depending on who's sat in front of you, who the high priest is, sort of thing. And so there is no magic bullet, is it, Pete? It's got to be a collection of all different defences. And what may work for you one day may not work for me. So I think we've got to arm ourselves and take practical steps. If we can head it off before it gets to court, if not, take as many weapons as we can. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely agree with that one. I mean, the people before us and the people after us, they're going to get the magic bullet, and they're going to take one for the team. But this is how we're doing it. We're nudging at them and taking a little chunk out of them, and eventually, once we've found the bullets that do work, it's going to work for everybody else. But yeah, there's no one magic bullet that wins all, because it's a card game. It's a game of poker.
Yeah, exactly, mate. I no longer see it as a victory or a loss now. I did the trust thing about this gas meter, which I know I was just experimenting there, and they ended up taking my meter away, which is great. So that's what I really wanted them to do. So I viewed that as a defeat for myself, and the other stuff I viewed it as a victory. But I no longer do that, Pete. I don't know if you're the same as me now.
Yeah. I mean that's it's never a defeat.
It's never a victory either, in my view. No, I don't know what you think.
It's. I mean, sometimes you go yes, sort of thing. I've got one over on them, but I think that's because you get a bit frustrated at all the work you're doing, and you're trying to educate people, and they're not listening to you, and they ignore you, and things like that. I mean, I remember the first one I really ever had was non-education of vehicle. Yeah, DVLA, and it was guaranteed to be because I bet a few viewers have had this one. They changed the logbooks not long ago, so you have to notify them when you've sent it. If you've not received a letter from them, then you've got to get in touch with them. That's why the logbooks were changed probably about 6 months ago now. Can you remember them?
Yeah, I do. I think they changed colour as well, didn't they?
Yeah, and this guy sent it off, and the prosecution came out. She goes, "Well, what are you doing then?" He said, "Well, I sent it off." She goes, "Well, we haven't received it. It's up to you to chase it up." I says, "No, it's not." She goes, "Yeah, it is." I says, "No, it's not. Post Office General Act. Post Office Act." So I can't remember what it was now. But she goes, "Oh, right." She goes, "Well, fill this witness form in then." And I thought, well, how can you be a witness for yourself? I said, that's a bit weird. I says, no. I said, he ain't filling that out. I says, he's got an affidavit in his pocket. He's going to give you that. And anyway, I says, right, get it out, sign it, signed it, dated it. I said, right, give it to her. The second he handed it to her, she goes, okay, I'll dismiss the case.
Really?
Yeah, because it's a witness. You got to be a witness for yourself. You're there. So,
yeah, exactly.
Again, you're acting under the legal fiction. But this affidavit saying, I sent it off, he couldn't be rebutted, so she had to dismiss the case there and then before he even went into court. And then we walked out thinking, yeah, sound stuff, and then actually we reopened the case to get her expenses, which was interesting. Because I said to her, do you want to get your expenses for the day? He says, yeah. I said, well, come on, let's go back in and reopen the case. And we walked in the court. What are you doing here? I said, well, we didn't need the expenses. And they goes, oh, okay, then we're reopening the case, and she says, we're not contesting it, whatever, it's not guilty. And he got his expenses, and we walked out and was quite. And I've still got that check to this day.
Really?
Yeah,
Brilliant. Brilliant.
It's not in my name, like, but I can't cash it. But he gave it me. He says, "Cheers, Pete."
Just frame it, put it up on your wall.
Yeah.
Right, Pete. Because of all the delays and stuff, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll stick another song on. It's only just over 3 minutes. If you can mute your mics, I don't know if things are coming through, and then we'll finish off for about 10 or 12 minutes. But what I will, if you'll agree, Pete, to come on another time, because there's loads of stuff I wanted to talk about that we're not going to get done tonight. No,
there's loads of stuff we could have gone on about. We could do with a good.
We need a good hour and a half, don't we? Cause
yeah,
by the time we've swapped stuff, we've ended up. My idea is to get as much information. We haven't got a silver bullet, but we may have a game plan, which you say now you're starting to see the change in the court system now, and they're acknowledging us. So my idea, Pete, is to get as many people like us, maybe get some sort of workshops going where we can help people and explain it to them, and all get a game plan together and try and fight this tyranny. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, there's also the thing we spoke about the day how to get back at them. Remember I told you?
Yes, I do.
I mean, that's a very good one.
It is.
For another time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, mate, so I'll stick a song on and then we'll finish off for about 10 minutes. Is that all right, mate?
Yeah, sounds stuff up.
Okay, about 3 minutes or so. All right.
Okay, mate.
Yeah, just before the CMR statement there, that I played White Lines in the Sky by That's Our Rev. That's Our Rev who hosts the Prisoner Show. So, I've got with me for the next 6-7 minutes Pete Charles. Are you still there, mate?
I am.
Brilliant, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I say, we'll do this again, Pete. I'll get all these technical issues sorted, and we'll have a good tune bag next time. So, is there anything? I've got to close up for about 8:45, Pete, because to make room for our Alex, who's on. He does the Razor's Edge show. So before, let's have a look. What we're on 8:25, roughly 8:26.
Yeah,
So we've got
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes, mate. Is there anything that you can think of? I don't want to throw you at the deep end or anything, but. Is there anything that you can think of that people can be doing, or do you think? Because I'm a big believer in people trying something small, like a parking ticket. You know, to stop feeding. I keep harping on about stop feeding this cash cow. Stop throwing the money at it. Like I said on one of my shows, if everybody stopped shopping at Tesco, for instance, for 3 days, the whole thing would collapse.
Yeah.
So, do you agree that people now it's time to get off as horses? If we ever want to see a change in the future for our kids, that we ought to really be trying to do something, no matter how small it is. Do you agree with that, Pete?
Oh yeah, big style. Just get people on that, just educating people really to what's really happening and the truth, because we've all been suckered all these years and indoctrinated into the system, which is totally fraudulent. But any little thing that you can learn. I mean, I've woke quite a few people up just by giving them a snippet, like the banking system. I mean, I've had my bank manager in my office with me, telling me personally, saying, "Well, where's my original promissory note for that loan?" And he tried to get it back for me, and he couldn't do it.
Really?
Yeah, and I said, "Well, where's the money come from?" And he said, "Well, as soon as you sign that piece of paper," he says, "I type into a computer, £10,000." I said, "So where's the money come from?" He says, "Well, it come from you." I said, "You're the bank manager, you don't know this." And I've had, bank managers, solicitors, accountants, just people just need to get on there and start looking for stuff. I mean, John Harris, It's an Illusion, is a brilliant starter.
It is. I think that's the talk when I was well underway. That really got me realising that everything is a corporation. Is that the same for you, Pete?
Yeah, I mean, that's what got me. I mean, I was into the UFO stuff, like I said earlier, but watching that, and because my mind actually rejected it first time round. And
right.
I think it does, because you think, no, it can't be true. They wouldn't do that to us, would they?
Yeah, would they?
It's like Alex
G.
Yeah. So you have to watch it a few times, and then just little bits slot in. You think, well, yeah, that makes sense. And you just go from there really. But you need to try something. I mean, I didn't try anything for about a year because I'm the type of person that I need to know the answers before the question's asked. Being in business, you have to.
Yeah.
So I didn't try anything for a year. So I was a little bit confident. I thought, right, I'm going to try something now. And I just took it slowly that way. But in that year, what I was learning, I was passing on to everybody else as well. And the amount of glazed eyes I had in the first year was unbelievable. But the second year, and I'm sure you'll agree, but the amount of people onto this truth movement now and discovering the truth is massive compared to what it used to be.
It is, yeah, Pete. And it takes a bit of deprogramming. It takes time for that, doesn't it? But in the same way that you said the courts have changed, you've noticed this last couple of years. I've noticed the amount of people that have now become aware this last, I would say 2 years is unbelievable. Have you people that you never would have thought, teachers, policemen, like you said, even doctors? Would you agree that this last 2 years people are becoming more and more aware in more massive numbers?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the people who used to call me mad.
I still get that now. Well, I think we all do.
Well, yeah, I think I'm going to sign my own sick note from now on. Yeah, the people who used to call me mad are like saying, "Oh, did you know this?" I'm going, "Yeah, I know that." And the people I've woke up will say, they'll send you stuff, but it's stuff you already know, and you say thanks. But they're getting the excitement of actually discovering the truth and deprogramming themselves. Yeah. But it's like you say, you have to deprogram the way you have to think totally different, which is ever so weird, but it just opens your eyes. But the journey you go through is absolutely wonderful. The truth will set you free, and it really does. Yeah,
it does. Yeah, Pete, I'll tell you, just change your subject a little bit. You sent me, let me get this right, to use as a defence in court was about the coronation stone being fake. Was it Maud Dib, I think it was?
Maud Dib, yeah.
Maud Dib. Can you just say, I mean, we're not that long. just explain really, really quickly who Mordib is. He's actually, I'll tell you why, he's a guest on tomorrow night's show, the Prisoner Show, with Reverend, who we've just heard singing. Mordib is actually a guest for him tomorrow night. I think 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. That's the Reverend who does the Prisoner Show tomorrow night. Oh. So we've got that. Well, George has got that guest. His name is George, our host. So would you just explain a little bit about what Mordib's done now? I mean, it's going to have to be really brief, Pete. So and you sent me this as a defence, didn't you, that I couldn't use in court? I
did do. You guys got to watch or listen to more tomorrow. He's really,
agreed. He's fantastic, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a great guy. He got locked up for 161 days or something. Was it something like that?
Yeah, it was a long time, wasn't it?
But it's basically about the jurisdiction of the Queen on the coronation oath. Now, every public servant basically swears an oath, and once I swear this oath, it's to the Queen, and the Queen's sworn oath on the Bible. So basically, everything in the Bible, which is quite good, really, when you get down to it. It's common sense, the Ten Commandments and all the rest of it. She swore an oath, they swore an oath to her, and she swore an oath to uphold God's law or uphold the faith. Now, she's broken her oath by... in the Bible it says, you will not add to my word and you will not take away from my word. Well, they've done that already, so that's, again, she's breaking her oath and she's not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
And even if she was coronationed rightfully, she broke her oath, but she wasn't coronation rightfully because the coronation stone, or stone of destiny, was actually stolen in the 1950s, I think, and sent to Scotland. And I think that's why Scotland's got so much power over us.
Yeah, good point, mate.
Plus the fact they've never been conquered. I think you mentioned that to me the other week.
Yeah, the Romans never conquered them, did they? I don't think anybody did they?
No. So the stone, she's been coronationed or crowned,
crowned.
On a false stone. So basically, she's not the real Queen.
So would you say that everything that she's done has now been fraudulent then?
Yeah, but I think she's been. Well, I hope. Let's say it that way, because I hope she's been constitutionally kidnapped.
Yes.
By all her so-called advisors saying, "Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, can't." I mean, because royal assent of any statute it's automatic.
Yes.
You know, and that's since Edward the. It was one of the who abdicated.
Edward somebody.
Yeah. It was one after him. Basically, he didn't know much about anything, and he signed a piece of paper saying, "Yeah, automatic royal ascension," because he's a lazy git, as I understand it, so he wouldn't have to keep doing it all the time.
Yeah.
But prior to that, Edward would not sign it because he says, "No, this has got massive implications on the people, and it violates the constitution." So he wouldn't sign it for the royal ascension. On that one. So, like I say, I hope the monarchy's been trapped. I hope they don't do it knowingly.
I hope they're not complicit in it.
Yeah. But I have grave doubts, but just hope.
Yeah, so Mordib goes into this coronation stuff in great detail, doesn't he?
He does do. I mean, I haven't got the paper on me, but you've got all the points. There's loads of points in there.
I've actually got a copy that you sent me. Yeah, thanks for that, mate.
There's some brilliant points in that he raises, just to challenge the jurisdiction, saying basically you've got no jurisdiction over me. Who gives you your jurisdiction over me? Because in God's eyes we're all equal. So I can't tell you what to do. You can't tell me what to do, which is how it should be.
Yeah, agreed, mate, agreed. Listen, mate, 8:35, I'm going to have to start closing up now. I'm sorry it's been such a mishmash technical-wise, Pete. Would you come back on a future date and obviously I'll get all these issues sorted and we can go through things a bit more thoroughly?
Yeah, of course, yeah, no problem at all, Rob.
Okay, cheers, Pete. And after I've done this show, I'll send you a Skype just to say thanks personally for coming on and being patient. So, okay, Pete.
If I don't answer you, it's because I've just nipped off to poker because I'm late.
Oh man, I forgot you've got to be somewhere else tonight. Right, I won't. I'll do it tomorrow. Cheers, Pete. I made you wait half an hour. No, sorry about that, Paul.
Oh, mate. No, I've enjoyed it, Rob. I've enjoyed it.
Okay, lovely. Well, I'll get you back on another time when it suits your schedule, because I know you're busy, Pete, and I really appreciate it for you coming on. Okay, mate.
Not a problem.
Would you do me a favour, Pete? End the call at your side.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Okay, thanks a lot, Pete. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, ta-da.
Bye. Yeah, so brilliant. Despite this technical disaster that I've had, Pete's got loads more information to share with us, but obviously we were thrown a little bit tonight. So yeah, cheers, Pete, for that. You're going to enjoy your poker now. I hope you win. I'll go off with you, mate. Yeah, so getting ready to close up so Alex can come on. I'm going to clear off for Alex for the Razor's Edge show at 9 o'clock. So, folks, I'm sorry about the mishmash tonight. I was going to go into all sorts, but like I say, we can always do it again. So, the main theme of tonight were to discuss stuff with Pete Charles, who's as knowledgeable as me in some areas and far more knowledgeable than me in other areas, and come up with a game plan that we can all sort of work on and do en masse. So that was my original plan. It's all gone to cope really technical-wise, but no problem, because we'll do it again. And so the overall message tonight was to carry on, get off your arse. That's why I mentioned doing something small. Let's do something small. Let's stop going to the supermarkets. Let's stop paying our water bill. People can never be cut off for water. It can never go tits up. Just do something small. I don't care whether it's not paying a parking ticket or just sending a letter off to someone asking them to explain something. Just let's all do something small, get off his arses. Yeah, David Icke there, brilliant. There's more of that to play, but obviously I'm running out of time, so I'm going to clear off now and make way for Alex. What time are we on? Yeah, I've got a couple of minutes just to finish off on. So the message is, let's get off his arses, like I keep saying. Let's group together, and let's come up with a plan en masse, and this is how we're going to do it. So I just want to say thanks for everybody, thanks for listening, thanks for putting up with all the tech stuff. All the tech problems, everything going wrong. It could have possibly gone wrong, but never mind, we'll do it again next time. Thanks a lot to my guest, Pete Charles. Didn't forget his name then, and he'll be back on again. So, thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, tomorrow night we've got the Cry Freedom Show with our host Lisa. Brilliant stuff. And then that's 7 PM till 9 PM, and then 9 PM till 11 we've got the Rev with the Prisoner Show with special guest Maud Dibb. So brilliant, that'll be great. So I'm clearing off now. Thanks a lot for listening, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers, it's Rob Freeman signing out. Cheers, good night everyone.